This review is viewer sponsored by YouTube user DJ Extremist1, who ordered the MP7 through me and graciously allowed me to review it before shipping it to him. Big thanks out to DJ Extremist for supporting the channel. Another thanks goes out to YouTube user SealTeamDice, who ordered the Tokarev through me, but I forgot to mention this before I got into the review. Big thanks to both these guys. Without them, the review wouldn't be possible. If you'd like to viewer sponsor a video, this is possible by two different ways. You can either order a weapon through me that you want to see reviewed that I have not reviewed in either a long time or at all, and your name will be put at the beginning like DJ Extremist1 and SealTeamDice. The second way is by sending in a donation. This donation will be put into a fund. Once this fund is big enough, I'll purchase a weapon with these funds. Once I'm done reviewing this weapon, I will raffle out this gun to the donators that allowed the review to be possible. The more money you send in, the higher chances you are of getting this gun. You send in $10, you'll have one name put into a bowl. Send in $20, you'll have two names put into a bowl. Send in $100, you'll have 10 names put into a bowl. So the more money you send in, mathematically you have a higher percentage of getting this gun. That's how it's possible. I'll elaborate more in a future video, but for now, enjoy the review. Hey guys, Jarek here, and welcome to my KWA MP7 review. Before we talk about the airsoft MP7, let's talk about the real steel MP7. Unfortunately, H&K doesn't seem to care about the civilian market, so if you want to fire an MP7, you're going to have to be in a military that utilizes it. Otherwise, you'll never hold a real MP7 in your life, and possibly never even see one in person with your own eyes. So obviously, I don't have any footage of me firing an MP7, so we'll have to draw back on video game content. With that said, the video game I'm showing you today is definitely a good video game for showing off the MP7. This video game is Rainbow Six Vegas 2, and it's definitely one of my most played games and one of my favorite. The MP7 is designed by a German company called Heckler & Koch, or H&K for short. It went into production in 2001 as a direct rival to the FNP90. However, they were 11 years late, as the FNP90 was finished in 1990. So the FNP90 got a considerable head start, and is already being used by many different law enforcement agencies. The H&K MP7 is considered a personal defense weapon, or PDW for short. It fires a 4.6 by 30mm cartridge that is very similar to FN's 5.7 by 28mm ammo. A bit of extra interesting information is that H&K originally had planned to make a pistol firing the 4x6 by 30mm round to be carried as a sidearm to the MP7. This pistol was to be called the H&K UCP, and it was supposed to directly compete with the FN57 pistol. In 2009, the H&K UCP project had been cancelled because HK felt that it did not provide adequate ballistics in handgun form. There was another project that would allow the MP9 to fire the MP7 round. This project ultimately failed, which sparked a new project to allow the MP9 to fire the 6.5 by 25mm cartridge. This cartridge is interchangeable with a 9mm round, which means you can keep your old magazines. All it takes to fire this new cartridge is to swap barrels, which seems very useful for military use. All that original project seemed to do is further increase H&K's competition in the PDW market. Despite all of its ever-growing competition, the MP7 is still extremely successful. Many different countries, such as Australia, Austria, Germany, Italy, Japan, the United Kingdom, and the United States, use the MP7. Mostly it is used by special units, such as paratroopers, SWAT units, and the United States Navy SEALs. The MP7 also immediately caught on in pop culture, being seen in many different movies and many different video games. One of its earliest appearances in video games was in Half-Life 2. So yeah, you could say this gun is successful. When you get your KWA MP7, it'll come in a cardboard box with the gun held in styrofoam. Nothing flashy or really great about this, but it does its job during shipping, so I can't really complain. When you open the box, you'll find an instruction manual that overall is decent and tells you the basics, but it doesn't have a full takedown guide, so ultimately I find it somewhat useless. You also have your warranty information, which is very important if anything happens to break. I found the return service to be fairly reliable and pretty decent overall, so I would highly recommend you don't lose this. Also inside of the box will be a bag of about 25 BBs which you'll burn through instantly, so I would recommend getting more. You'll find a hop-up unit, the gun, and a 50 round magazine. The MP7 design is very unique. It allows you to switch it from a machine pistol to a full-sized submachine gun in a mere few seconds. In every variation, I found this gun to be extremely comfortable and naturally fit in my hands and against my shoulder. This gun is also extremely left-handed user-friendly. Every feature on this weapon is just as accessible on the left-hand side of the gun as it is on the right. This includes the sling mounts, charging handle, mag release, selector switch, and bolt catch release. This gun also features an extra trigger safety. If you pull the side of the trigger, it will not fire. Even though the bolt release is in a perfect position on this gun and is very easy to push, I did find my gloves to kind of snag on it when I went to put my finger on the trigger. Since your finger should never be on the trigger unless you're ready to fire, this is a movement you're going to have to make a lot, so if you wear gloves, this might be something to think about. This gun does have official H&K trademarks, but they come at a cost. This gun is licensed through Umarex, which means the gun is going to be more expensive than what it should be, and have that ugly, terrible white paint on the side of the gun. KWA does not do themselves any favors here, as they use their usual black paint that they use on all of their weapons. The paint they use sparkles off sunlight like a damn Twilight vampire. KWA, if you were watching this review, please stop using this paint. It's a horrible eyesore on an overall very good looking replica. And this is true about every single one of their guns, as they use the same paint on every release. Everything I've said has entirely been based off looks, however. The actual materials used on this weapon are incredibly high quality that can only be beaten by real sword, and the textures added are a very nice touch. This gun is mostly made out of very high quality polymer, with the important parts being made out of metal, like the selector switch, mag release, bolt release, rail system, and stock, just like on the real MP7. You will have a plate on the bottom of your gun, with authentic trademarks and a unique serial number included. I said earlier that the magazine is a 50 round magazine, but it actually only holds 40 rounds. But that's still a pretty generous amount of BBs you can put down range, and it only takes one BB to get somebody out. The construction of these magazines are a very high quality durable metal, but as always be careful with them, they do retain gas and you could cause a leak. The magazines though are a little bit pricey. They can be around $50 a magazine, so you better save up before getting this gun. This gun uses the KWA NS2 design, which in my experience is much more gas efficient than most other gas blowbacks out on the airsoft market. You're able to get 2 magazines out on one gas fill, although I did have a few times where I was able to get up to 4 magazines out on one gas fill on a 90-degree day. That's very impressive. The KWA MP7 requires a tool to adjust your hop-up unit. You slide the tool into the hole on the front of the weapon and adjust it left and right, where very loud audible clicks can be heard. Now I know people don't really like having to use tools to adjust the hop-up unit, but this was very easy and painless to adjust and was very effective, providing this gun with extreme accuracy. I did however have a few times where I would have liked to adjust the hop-up in between clicks, but I couldn't, resulting in not quite as consistent BBs as I could have gotten, but overall, it well exceeds expectations and has a much higher quality hop-up unit than most other airsoft guns. The MP7 has arguably the best sights you will see in the airsoft market. The pistol sights are painted white and are very visible, as well as being completely adjustable left and right. But for woodland games, you're going to want some rifle sights, so you can simply flip up these pistol sights, and you have rifle sights that are easily adjustable right then and there. Both are very easy to use and are very quick to aim with. While chronoing the MP7, the weather couldn't have been better for a gas blowback gun. It was 90 degrees Fahrenheit outside, or 32 degrees Celsius for you non-American viewers, which should give you the best FPS you're going to get out of your gas blowback rifle. The average seemed to stay roughly around 400 feet per second. which means you're not going to be taking this into CQB fields. I do wish KWA would lower that a little bit, but you can get downgrade parts, so you can take this gun into CQB. However, what this does mean is that you can take this gun into woodland and not suffer having a lower feet per second than full-size AEGs. When I tested the rate of fire of this gun, it averaged around 1000 to 1100 rounds per minute. That is well above average and is a very respectable rate of fire. Combine that with the fact that this gun is very loud, and it brings in an intimidation factor that no AEG can even hope to rival with. Just trust me when I say this thing is loud. My camera does not do it justice. Once again, I need to make clear what is going to be considered a hit. I'm shooting at very small targets made for a .22 rifle. In a game, you're usually going to be shooting at a man-sized target, so anything within this red square is going to be considered a hit. But keep in mind, this red square is still smaller than your usual human-sized torso. At 100 feet away, not much is needed to be said about this gun. It's incredibly accurate in both semi-automatic and fully automatic fire. At 150 feet away, the performance of this weapon was still extremely impressive. Almost every single BB hit within the designated hit square we described earlier. I have no doubt that you'd be able to hit a man-sized target past 150 feet. That's incredibly impressive considering this gun's barrel length is only about half of what you usually see in a standard M4A1. This means your small PDW of an MP7 can go toe-to-toe with a full-sized AEG with no downsides. Knowing basic disassembly of this gun is a must for two different reasons. The first one is obvious: basic cleaning, maintaining, and lubing your gun. The second one is so that you can install a low velocity bolt into your weapon, which if you plan on going into any CQB arenas with this gun, you're going to have to, as the stock velocity is way too hot. The good news is, installing this new bolt is incredibly easy. All you need to do is remove two rear pins, pull out the old bolt, and put in your new one. And that's it, you're done. You now have a CQB legal FPS. With the feet per second being this easy to change, I don't really see it being a negative thing that this gun comes stock shooting 400 feet per second. If anything, this is a good thing. This means you can take this gun in woodland and CQB and do just as well in both scenarios, and chances are, you've already seen this happen. Final conclusion of this gun: is it worth your money? The KWA MP7 is a proven and reliable gun that has been seen on airsoft fields for many years and definitely will for many more years to come. With its age, there is a plethora of aftermarket parts. If you've been eyeing the KWA MP7, go ahead and pull the trigger. Despite its sparkly paint, you really can't go wrong, and without a doubt, it's worth the cost. That about sums up my review of the KWA MP7. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys next time.
We'll meet at the station entrance when we're done. So first we better clear the roof and the towers, and then take care of the patrols.
This game looks really good. So, standard sniper mission?
Do you know anything about what's brewing?
So we're gonna go mini golfing, and so how long do you think it'll take before you start feeling a little bit even more sick?
I'm just gonna peel up my ice cream and drink it again.
He is slightly lactose intolerant.
Slightly. At least it doesn't come out the fucking other way. It just comes out of my mouth, damn it.
That's not any better.
I'd rather have it on
Being sick is still being sick.